Good evening, mental health warriors. I hope everybody's having a great, wonderful night. Sorry we got a little late start. Lynn and I will tell you what we were talking about before we came on the show. But before we jump into that, let's get into this real quick. You got the QR code up there for Reads Across America. It's to ensure that the veterans were memorialized during the holiday season. I'm super proud to be part of them. You just scan the QR code there. You can donate as little as $5 to ensure that wreath is put on that memorial over the holiday season. Along with that, Reads Across America Radio replays my podcast at Fridays at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 10 p.m. Super easy to find. Just download the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, or the Odyssey app, and just search for Reads Across America Radio, where you'll find our great program, but also all the other great programming they do. And they play wonderful, great music on that also. And of course, you have 10th Mountain up there in the top right corner. You can Google them. They have great bourbon. I talk about them all the time. I'm slowly getting all my Italian friends addicted to their bourbon. So they need to come out to Italy, Lynn. They need to fly you out and come out and do a show out here in Italy, because that'd be a lot of fun. And then down below, you got Veterans Mortgage. With the change of the administration with America First, I'm sure interest rates are slowly start coming down. So maybe you're now looking to buy that house that maybe you wouldn't think of before. And then on the other code, PCS to Paradise, there's just pretty cheap to live in Italy right now. So it might be something you might want to look into, but you can scan that QR code and they can help you out with that. Okay, with that, Lynn, what do you got going on today?
Okay, so we were just talking about this before the show, but I just went down this entire rabbit hole.
We went down a big rabbit hole.
I went down this rabbit hole, that's why I was late. I was like, oh God, it's past 5. I gotta get on the podcast. But I was going on TikTok, and I saw a couple days ago, the government, Congress, confirmed that we have aliens in the ocean. They're called UAPs, and so. The crazy part is that I saw some videos and it looked like bioluminescence. It looked like bioluminescence, right? A little bit, but then
there was the old movie Abyss, right?
Yeah, so I'd never seen that movie, and I was looking through the comments, and people were like, "Oh, just like that movie Abyss."
It's a pretty good movie.
And then I think there's also a documentary about it. But then there was a being that was walking, and it was fishermen off the coast of Puerto Rico. Yeah. And they were like, "Oh, what is this? And they're speaking in Spanish. They're like, "Oh, is it a submarine? What is that light? Where is it coming from? Oh, there's a diver in the water, but then nobody else is out there. There's no other vessels or anybody scheduled out there. The diving company that goes off that coast wasn't operating in the evening."
Yeah.
So I went down that, and I was looking at the comments, and people were saying, "Oh yeah, that's why NASA was originally created, because they were going to explore the ocean." So the ocean, they only explored 5% of our ocean, which makes up 70 or 80% of the Earth, right? So, so then they said, okay, so this is what NASA probably found something, and so they switched their gears to outer space. Now I'm seeing people say, and this is all conspiracies or whatever in the comments. So none of this is, been confirmed. But Congress did confirm the presence of UAPs in the ocean. So anyway, they said that NASA explored outer space, and outer space isn't that real. They've explored most of it, and that outer space is in the ocean, and that there is another ocean underneath the ocean, in the middle of the
earth. What's weird is they've actually shown where there's a lake inside the ocean or something. There's water inside the down below, and that was really weird to see. But along with that, I don't know if you saw it on Instagram, where the guys were out. This isn't aliens, but it was the mermaids, where the guy was on the fishing boat, and he actually heard the mermaid singing, and then he caught a glimpse of the tail or the mermaid swimming by on the boat. It went on for quite a while. That was pretty interesting. But there seems to be a lot of crazy stuff going on right now.
Yeah, it feels like 2024 is not even real, because what's up with that Mike Tyson fight this past
week? Oh yeah. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Okay.
Okay. That was straight up fixed.
I don't know how old Jake Paul is, but
he's 28.
A lot of us had a lot of problems with our Netflix. So Netflix servers weren't doing so well for a lot of us. There's a handful of people that didn't have problems, but that fight was ridiculous. And then I also saw that they had a contract, and somebody said that contract is pretty much a scripted fight.
Yes, right? And
Chris
The contract was leaked out, and I watched on
Yeah.
TikTok the guy was reading the contract
Right.
and then dubbing the fight as it went on.
Hmm.
And I've watched Mike Tyson since he started fighting, so I've watched him since he
Iron
was,
Mike, right? He's all of our
that's right.
idols.
But you watch that guy's training videos when he was training for this fight. That guy's an animal, and you
Yeah.
can see him on that fight. Maybe the first round he hit that guy pretty hard, and then you saw that guy flinching when Mike went to go hit on the first round because he knocked him back.
Yeah.
Mike would have knocked him out by the second round.
Oh, for
But
sure.
here's the thing, one, I feel bad for people that placed money on the bet on that fight because a lot of people lost a lot of money on a fixed fight. That's absolutely ridiculous. Two, had Mike Tyson knocked him out, this guy, he's generating millions of dollars for not only himself but for other organizations. He never would have got another fight and never would have win
So
anything.
no
You know,
knockouts allowed. His signature uppercut move or whatever, where he knocks people out within the first three rounds, were not allowed. So that's why
yeah.
you see him holding back, and he was biting his glove. Right. So the guy at the end, he's like, "Why were you biting your gloves? Like, were you fixing your mouthpiece, whatever?" And then Mike Tyson goes, "Oh, I have a biting fixation."
Mhm.
So yeah, if it had to last the whole duration, or else he wasn't going to get any money.
I think
Oh,
it
thank
was
you.
to remind Mike Tyson not to knock Jake Paul out. I mean, to be honest with you,
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean,
but
like you said,
it
the training videos didn't match what he was doing inside the ring.
no,
So
no, not at all. And you know what? I get it. Hey, I think it was like $70 million they're saying now that Mike Tyson took to take a dive. Uh, you know, it's not a real, was a sanctioned fight, but it really wasn't a fight because it had 14-ounce gloves. They did
yeah,
two
that
minutes
was
rounds instead of 3-minute rounds. 'Cause it was just kind of ridiculous. And I think had people who were betting on that should have cued him in not to bet on that fight because I saw one video where a guy was upset because he bet his life savings for Tyson to win. I'm thinking, well, how stupid can you be on something that clearly was not a real fight? It was an exposition fight
yeah.
that they hyped it
It
up.
was
I
it
mean,
was just
really.
made so that to get Mike Tyson money, I guess.
Well,
Which
Jake Paul too. I mean, he made more money than Tyson.
oh yeah, at least
You know,
80 million, at least 80.
but
That's
I
what I
tell you
read.
what's going to happen. That guy's going to get into a ring with a real boxer without that stupid contract, and they're going to knock him out in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, he's not like a bad fighter. He's been training for a while. It's just that that fight wasn't
Yeah,
real.
but he's only had 10 fights in 4 years, 10, 11 fights, professional fights in
And
4 years.
then like how many of them
Yeah.
were actual real fights though? You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
I saw that like he fought a lot of like heavy hitters. He fought some really good fighters and somehow won. Like you're gonna win off of these fighters. Like that was just so weird to me. Not only
Yeah.
that, the card before the Tyson fight, um,
No, the girls
the
fighting.
girls Serrano and Taylor.
Yes.
I feel
What a
like she
fight.
was robbed. She landed
Yeah.
107 more punches
Yeah.
than Taylor did,
Yeah.
and
With
then Taylor
anything
was
that
rubbing
highlighted women's
against the
boxing.
wound the entire time.
Hmm. But
Like when
that really highlighted women's boxing. A lot of people got to see a really good fight with those two women fighting. So, I mean, if anything comes out of that, at least hopefully that'll bring the spotlight on and maybe get bigger paydays for the women fighters out there because they can be just as ruthless, even in the UFC. Same thing. Those women can be just as ruthless in their
oh
division
yeah,
as men are.
but you could tell that Taylor was like so done at the last round because she kept falling into Serrano. She kept trying to like hug her or whatever the
Hmm.
heck she was doing. And then when she was getting close to her, she would rub Serrano's wound
Yeah.
with her
Well, I mean
hands.
that's boxing, right? So
Right.
in Virginia, my neighbor who lived across from me, his brother, sadly was an alcoholic. But there was one day he came over to my house, and he says, "Hey, look, you know how the alcoholics are, right?" He was getting the jitters. He says, "I don't want to drive." He says, "Hey, can I have a beer or something?" And he says, "Can we just sit on the porch and talk?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I gave him drinks. I said, "Hey, I appreciate the fact that you didn't drive, right? Because there's a lot of kids in the neighborhood and everything." I said, "Thank you, brother, for that." And we sit there and talk. Well, I didn't know this about him. He was a professional boxer, and a very good professional boxer. He had like a I think it was like 40-2 or something, or 40-3. He was welterweight, and and then he gave me a whole lesson on boxing and all this, and how they if you're really good, they play with the women and the drugs, and they say, oh, we're keeping the money for you, and blah blah blah, and he says, but once you start losing too much, you're just thrown away like a piece of trash. And it was just interesting to sit there and have that conversation with somebody who lived it, and he was
Right.
very good at it and well known. I'm not going to say his name, but it's just interesting to see that spectacle. And then you look at Mike Tyson. So when Mike Tyson was younger, his original trainer, Tyson had a rough life as a young kid, and this trainer saw the abilities in Mike and kind of became a father figure to him. And when he was still alive, his original trainer was still alive, he was unstoppable. Tyson would step into the ring, and that guy would flip a switch. In his when he was in 20s, when he won the championship, was just an animal. But his trainer made sure that he kept the women and the alcohol and the drugs away from him, because Mike, he's got that personality, probably from his childhood trauma that he suffered. And when his manager died and Don King got involved, and I'm sorry, Don King ruined boxing. That's really when Mike Tyson started having troubles, and that's really when you saw him lose that fight to Buster Douglas, when he first lost, when he shouldn't have lost that. So, that's a little bit of history lesson. But Tyson, I think with him and the I don't know if you know this about him, but when he was brought up on those silly ass rape charges with his wife or whatever that was, you can go back and look at that whole court case and everything. It's ridiculous. Trump was the only one that supported him on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hmm. I know that. That's crazy.
yeah,
Uh, but yeah, so I don't know, that fight was weird. But I used to watch Mike Tyson with my family as a kid. So I was like, I was born in the 80s. So I would watch him in the late 80s and in the 90s. Like I remember the
mhm.
Evander Holyfield fight with
Yeah,
the whole ear biting thing.
yeah,
And then so it was kind of like a nice experience because my daughter wanted to stay up and she just turned 12. Um,
yeah. Well,
the
Lloyd watched it, and we all sit
yeah.
together and watched it. Yeah.
So she was like really interested to just watch it with me. She's like, "Mommy, can you make sure I'm awake for the fight?" Because over here it really didn't start till like I don't know, midnight. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, because
yeah,
we watched it during the day, and we thought it was a replay, but it was live. We didn't
yeah,
realize that. We wa and, it was, what, 8 o'clock here or something, so, yeah, it was late there when it started.
yeah. And then the following day we had to wake up super early because we had the chance to participate in the Wounded Warrior Project Carry
Huh,
Forward 5K. And so we
awesome.
had our whole team from IW Jacks Beach, Irreverent Warriors Jacks Beach came out
Yeah,
to represent. And so the whole mission for Wounded Warrior Project, people should know who that is to, let's see, what does their mission say? Put the mission. Well, it's coordinated by WWP. Participants run
yeah,
the race while carrying flags to raise funds for veterans and their families. And
yeah,
then people also run, in the name of somebody else,
yeah,
or they run for people, or
yeah,
run for our brothers and sisters who can't be there or can't run either. So it
yeah.
was a good run. It was a fundraising event. I think there was 5,000 people that showed up. Our
Wow.
mayor also, Donna Deegan, she came out and ran the race too. And so it was really cool because I had my Navy flag, and then I had friends from the Marines come out, friends from the Army, friends from the Air Force. All different branches came out, and that was really fun. So I stayed up watching the fake fight, and then I had to wake up early for that 5K.
But,
So
it was still interesting, the fight. I mean, even though, yeah, after the first round, you knew it was fixed. But, hey, maybe the aliens will pop up, and maybe Mike Tyson will fight an alien next, or Jake Paul will fight an alien or something.
well, then now that they're saying that there's aliens in the ocean, like what the heck? This year is not real.
Oh,
It
it's
just
been,
does
well,
not seem
you know what, Lynn? I'll tell you what. I lived down in Virginia Beach for a lot of years, and I lived right on the water there at Fort Monroe, which is one of the old. Before, it was one of the oldest active Army bases. It was founded in 1609, And you would just see some weird stuff out there over the ocean sometimes. Because my bedroom faced the ocean over the Chesapeake Bay, and I would look out over it, and just sometimes you see some crazy stuff out there. So who knows? Maybe they'll find Bigfoot or something now.
Well, when I was in the Navy, right? I was pretty much a radar man, so operations specialist. I worked inside the dark
Oh
room
yeah,
that
I forgot, yeah.
you always see in the movies where they know all the mission that's going on. We have all the radars, all the comms with everybody, and so I remember being on watch one time, and there's just some weird blobs like coming on the screen. That was not it was not a vessel. It was not an aircraft. It was not a water vessel or anything like that. It was just weird phenomenons or whatever radar noise that would come over the screen, and we would just chalk it up to the radar just messes up.
Anomaly or something like that.
Yeah,
What you
yeah.
saw that one with the Navy sub
That
that
radar.
caught the school of fish swimming by, and you saw a trident hit one of the fish, and then quickly you saw like a male mermaid grab the fish and swim off. That was on TikTok not too long ago. I saw that. That was pretty crazy.
Well, a lot of things on TikTok also could be staged. Like people have these accounts, and like I really get into like the drama accounts, and I'm like, oh, this is real life. This is happening to them, and then I scroll through their account, and they're literally just acting. They're acting different scenarios. So I don't know if that.
Oh well, you know what? That reminds me. On my phone, I'll show
Mhm.
it next week. I'll send it to Chris. I took a picture of and a video of a strange object moving in the clouds in Rhode Island, and it wasn't an aircraft. I just remembered that. I have that on my phone. That was really crazy. And of course, if you believe in ghosts, I had the video of the ghost walking out from my brother's house. The two different videos that I showed a couple of years ago.
Mhm.
Literally, he was hearing noises underneath his porch, so he set his camera underneath there, and then all of a sudden you see this orb come up, and it turns into human form and walks out of his garage.
No.
Yeah, I'll send you that. I'll send you that video. It's great. And then he took another one that's coming from a different area and going out. His house
Wow.
was built in 1908.
They could be aliens from different dimensions.
Mm. Yeah, that explains a lot about my brother. Yeah, that's what it is.
They could be
But
coming.
it's to believe that we're the only people in the universe. I think that's narrow-minded. I mean, you
Mhm.
think about how vast the Earth is, and of course, Elon Musk jokes about being an alien. Maybe he is. I don't know. Who knows?
Maybe he
But
is.
I'm just happy that he created Doge. As somebody used to do contracting in the government, there's a whole lot of waste goes on, so I'm excited to see that. And I bought stock in the Bitcoin Doge a long time ago, and
Oh,
so since
that
he's been talking about it,
Dogecoin.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So somebody started that because that's the name of his dog. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so I bought that years ago, and so it's doing quite well now. So he needs to keep talking about that and get that up there quite a bit. So it doesn't need to go very high, and I'll be rolling in some bank, but so we'll see. Fingers crossed.
I don't do any of that, so I have no clue. But my brother-in-law and my sister, they do all that investing and the coins and things like that. They're up to date on that. And whenever they talk about it, matter of fact, they were talking about it on Saturday night, and I got bored, and I was like, "This is boring. I'm going to bed."
Yeah. One thing about trading Bitcoin now, I don't do it like a lot of my friends is it's not like the stock market, right? So it's
Mhm.
traded 24/7, 365. And what a lot of you Bitcoin traders will do is they'll pick a time and a moment to trade, and they'll do all that trades and make all that money, and then they don't trade for the rest of the day. But a lot of them do that. But Bitcoin's really jumped up a lot, since Trump got reelected. So it's going to be interesting. I know the stock market went way up. I've made,
Yeah, gas
quite a bit of
prices
money
went
earning.
down the other day. I went for gas, and it was like
Yeah.
$2.88. It was
I'm gonna
below
have to sell all my
$2.
stock in my oil companies. I bought stock in oil companies when Trump was president last time when the price of oil went to zero. So I
Mhm.
bought stock in ExxonMobil, Chevron, BP,
Oh,
everything.
wow.
Yeah, and I've made a shit ton of money on that stock. Well, now that he's going to come back in, although he'll do expirations, I'll have to watch it. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just normally what I do when I buy it, and this is for anybody who wants to get into stock trading. This is the best thing to do. Let's say I buy 10 shares of a stock, doesn't matter what it is. Once that stock has gone up and I can pull out my original investment, I sell that amount of shares. So if I can sell 5 shares and pull out my original investment, I do that. So then I have 5 shares where I have no money in. And I've just built up my stock portfolio. I think I've 150 stocks now that I have in multiple accounts. But I just and then so then it becomes just a self-feeding machine because all the dividends pay back in. And so that's one thing that I learned early on when I've been trading for 25 years is I always take out my initial investment once that stock gets high enough. So then really I have no money in it. So if it goes up or down, it really doesn't matter. To me, it's a zero sum game. So that's an important thing. And just remember, it's just like gambling or anything else you do. Don't bet or invest anything in that you can't afford to lose.
True.
That's awful smart. People get out there with FanDuel, and I don't do anything. I don't do sports betting. To me, stocks is my form of betting. But just be smart about it. Especially if you're, in that frame of mind, if you're drinking or something, maybe put some. I don't know if you can put controls on those apps or something, but maybe don't be betting if you've been drinking too much. It may not be a good idea.
Or maybe just like limit yourself, or like don't pick up your phone when you're drinking.
or or you watch the show that Veterans Trash Talk has on the Friday night show because they make some pretty good picks.
Oh yeah.
And they've. I mean, I think if you bet along with them, you'd probably be making a pretty good little penny with them because they've. I think there was one time last year where they were like 6-0 or something on picking the people who would win the fights. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the UFC fights. Yep.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, I took $25 and turned it to 340. That's what Chris just said.
Wow.
Wow. I wish
That's
I could do
crazy.
that. But there and in here in Florida, there's only like one app that's legal to use for betting or sports betting, and
Ah,
I think it's with Hard Rock with the Seminoles, the Hard Rock Casino. So,
hmm.
Chris says listens to sports betting. That's on Fridays, and
Yeah,
he says
the
look
Veterans Restaurant Sports
everywhere.
betting. Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought it was a Friday night fight show, but I guess it's a sport betting show.
it's the
Yeah.
sport betting show. I
Yeah.
know that.
But on that show, do they tell people how to place the bets and what that means? Because I
Oh,
have no idea.
Chris says Saturday mornings now.
Oh, Saturday mornings now. Okay. Now he
Um,
says so.
I haven't watched it in a while. I know that they
So
Oh, here he is.
might as well come on and just explain it since we're plugging it. Saturday mornings are when we go live with our sports betting. And because it is NFL season right now, we not only do MMA, specifically the UFC, where VTT's Triggered Pansy, a.k.a. Joe Britson,
Yeah.
Triggered Joe, and VTT Send It 7, a.k.a. Bill Pearson, will both give you their locks and their thoughts on the fights, but also
And they're good at it.
Triggered Joe drops a 4-fight parlay called the Big Earl's 4-legger, and Bill drops the Baker's 6-legger. So they'll actually give you a 4-fight parlay and a 6-fight parlay. And then Nick, the Big Earl, will actually explain how to bet it. So what he does is he puts like $5, $10 on each lock. And then we usually put $75 on the 4-legger because it's usually pretty good odds in our behalf because it's only 4 legs. But the 6-legger will drop $10. And I mean, we've hit the 4-legger before and made like $300-$400.
What's it? What I don't know what that means. The 4-legger or the parlay.
Yeah.
So a parlay is where you string a bunch of bets together. So, for example, if you pick the Buccaneers, the Cowboys, and the Panthers to lose, that is what's called a 3-leg parlay.
Oh, okay.
Now, Vegas has big buildings because of parlays, but you could take something that's negative odds and increase it. So I did a 7-game parlay on Sunday, and the Baltimore Ravens screwed it up for me.
Yeah.
But I would have taken $20 and turned it into $250 if all 7 legs hit.
Nice.
What app do you guys use for betting?
So I use BetMGM, but sports betting is illegal in Virginia, or is legal in Virginia. And then I think Joe uses FanDuel. Both are just as good. And then the Big Earl uses MyBookie because it's not illegal in California, but it's not easily accessible, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing that we always put in our disclaimers is don't bet money you don't have.
Yeah.
And then the Big Earl, because it is football season, we'll do the same thing with football, and he'll give you he always does a locks parlay. So
did they pick for the Chiefs to lose? I heard they lost.
we actually didn't do an episode this weekend because the Big Earl had a fun night Friday night, and I don't think he went to bed till like 6 o'clock Saturday morning West Coast time.
Wow,
and the show is at 7 a.m. So
yeah, why sleep?
It's what I tried to say, but he said he's getting old. So
catches up with you.
I texted him yesterday, and he wouldn't even do the shotgun challenge, not even down a beer because they were at a fancy bar.
But they did it.
So he went to San Diego for the Offspring concert with VTT's coach, one of our other guys, and they had backstage passes to the Offspring. Wow,
I think I saw pictures of that on Facebook actually.
Yep, and so they were drinking pretty heavily. He called me Friday night, pretty good. Solid. He was feeling solid. We'll say that.
That's okay.
So he had a weekend.
Feels pretty solid too.
Yeah. So if you want good sports betting advice, we're in the 4 to 5 figure mark on our wins this year already. Yeah. They're nuts. They hit 6. Well, our best, I think it was a 9-leg parlay we hit on the MMA, and we hit round and finish, not just money line. Yeah. Yeah. So
I know the amount of knowledge that Trigger Joe has.
And Send It 7, it's nuts, both of them.
It's absolutely incredible. And how he breaks down these, the competitors and their strengths and weaknesses and what they think's going on. And
they're 100% MMA nerds.
Oh, yeah. Straight up.
Big time. And the Big Earl is the same way with NFL. Like, it's not public knowledge, but about 3 years ago now, I think it was a completion away from winning the $1 million with FanDuel or DraftKings. The DraftKings Fantasy, he was a completion away from winning the $1 million with the Super Bowl.
Wow.
He was that, like, they were calling him saying, can your TV pause? Can you record? Like, we want your reaction, blah, blah, blah. He ended up not getting it, but
son of a bitch.
He still made out very well.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, but yeah, no, these guys, if you bet the way they tell you to bet, and we break it down, like I actually will pull up on the screen the BetMGM bet slip of how to bet it. And if you listen to how the Big Earl says to do it, you'll be successful. Like I said, I took $25 in 2 weekends and turned it into $350.
Nice.
So
there you go.
Yep.
I know for one thing, the Jacksonville Jaguars are always going to lose. They got stomped. It was so embarrassing. It was like in the 50s. The other team was the Lions, Detroit Lions. Who would have thought Detroit Lions is like doing great?
They've been really good the last couple of those years.
And their score was like in the 50s, and then Jacksonville Jaguars, it was like 6. Like someone's getting fired after this season.
It was like 52-6 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. Last few years, Detroit has been a powerhouse. Yeah, the Lions have been pretty good, and they're favored to win the Super Bowl or to go to the Super Bowl.
They have to get through the Chiefs first. Although I haven't because of the time difference. I haven't watched any football. I just read about it. I don't watch.
The Chiefs are AFC, and then Detroit, I think, is NFC.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, so they would only meet in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so that could happen.
Of course, I am a stockholder in Green Bay. I haven't watched them. I don't even know how they're doing this year. But years and years and years ago, they offered. They were doing the stadium, and they hold stock holdings, and so I bought stock in Green Bay. So. Every year I can go to their stockholders meeting. I've never been, but I get 4 tickets every year to go.
So a lot of people don't know that it's the people that own the team that have the stock. It's not like there's not one owner.
And they don't, they don't hold those. They've only done it twice in the team history, and it's very limited. So. It's something I'll pass on to my kids, when it gets to that time.
And Lambeau Field is super cool. I love it. Yeah. Like there's a museum there. There's all kinds of.
I just hated it when they heated it. I hated it when they heated it. To me,
so it's not like the frozen tundra anymore because the whole field is heated, and just that technology is just amazing. Because I did a whole stadium tour there, so I got to go behind the scenes in the locker rooms. I got to go to like the suites, and then
Nice.
they were like, okay, let's go try to do the Lambo leap now. And I'm over here 5'3". There's no way I can't get that high. That's pretty freaking high.
Yeah.
If you ever seen that. So
Yeah, for years and years we had season tickets to the Kansas City Chiefs, and we back years ago they had what they called motorhome alley, and so if you had a motorhome and you paid extra money, you could park right in front of the stadium because they always tailgate and stuff, and we did that for years. I had my motorhome, I'd drive it up, and it just turned into a 3-day party. I mean, we just parked there, and I'd bring up moonshine my buddy made, and we just all party, then go to the game, and then come out and party again because you wasn't gonna drive that night. You would just spend the night in the RV and go back the next day. So
yeah,
it was a lot of fun, but they don't do that anymore, sadly.
Yeah, the Chiefs actually lost this weekend, their first loss. So, and Chris just said this weekend proved the Chiefs are not invulnerable. So there goes their winning streak.
But they were playing Buffalo Bills, and I think the Bills have the chip on the shoulder about them. So I bet I didn't watch the game. I haven't read about it yet, so I'm pretty sure it was I don't know, what was the score?
I don't recall. I was busy giving out shotgun challenges.
Right.
Yesterday for Sunday. But yeah, so I know I sent y'all a video. So I sent my brother-in-law, Nick Wing. You guys can thank him. He started the shotgun challenge. He's like, you know what? I'm bored. Let me send this to my group chat, and you have 30 minutes to respond to the shotgun challenge. So, okay. So Chris said Kansas City 21, Bills 30.
Yeah, 21-30. Yep, I just looked it up.
Yeah.
They were playing in Buffalo, right?
I think so. But yeah, and who does shotguns, right? Like I'm 40, like I'm not doing a shotgun. But
but you look like you're 25, so it's the same.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm 25 with experience. Exactly. But no, so he sent one of the videos to my husband in Virginia. So one of our friends and my husband, they were together. They did it, and then so my husband turned around and sent it to me.
Yeah.
So then
I saw you did it. I know that was pretty awesome that you did. But I tried it here in Italy, but I jammed my finger because I couldn't get through the glass bottle.
I didn't know that they don't have canned bottles in Italy.
I haven't seen it
all
for beer. They have it for you can get aluminum cans for your soda and stuff like that. And maybe they have it for beer, but where I buy my beer from, I've never seen them in the can. Even your like your Coronas and things like that, they're all in glass. So
let's see. I'm just gonna go off and name the people who did my challenge because
they're
all military, which was really cool.
Yeah,
and people
but you had a bunch of them.
I'm Navy, and my Navy people disappointed me. Y'all should have came through our.
Shout out to the Army guys. Way to do the challenge.
Right. So let's see. Okay. I'm going to shout these people out.
Okay, I'll be quiet for a second. Bull, be quiet. Bull.
Mike McPherson, he's Army Doc. He did 3 shotguns and then sent it to his people. My girl Kendra Garcia, she's out in South Florida.
Yep, I saw her do hers.
She's a Marine, and she just came from the Marine Corps ball. So the night before and didn't really sleep. And then she tried to shotgun a beer for me. So I love that. Fonzie, he's Army, and he's out in Tampa. Justin Wilkinson, and I think Justin is out in North Carolina, I want to say. And he's a Marine, and he was one of the people that was there during the Ginny Springs incident with me. My friend Uni, she's out in Central Florida, and she's Air Force. And I always put Special Forces because she's not like the rest of the Air Force. I literally sent a video to one of my Air Force buddies who lives in Daytona. And he said, sorry, Lynn, I've never done a shotgun before. He goes, sorry, Lynn, I don't down beers. And I said, if that isn't the most Air Force, Chair Force thing I ever freaking heard.
We just don't do that with beer.
Nick Sawwall did it. Shout out to Nick. He lives out in Memphis, Tennessee. And he's Army. I call him my hike son, Ruben Moreno. He's Army out of DC. And then our one and only David Trenton did it after he got off.
That's why I'm doing it.
He downed a Coors Light. Yeah. And then Benjamin did it. Navy.
I
Benjamin.
saw him.
Yep.
Yep, I saw
He
Benjamin
did
do it.
it.
Yep.
And he's out of Virginia. And then Megan, David's wife, did it. She did
Okay,
it with
I
a
didn't see
well, she
Megan's
did
video.
a shot. So she did the shot without the gun. So she shot tequila. Then I had another friend who sent in the video late, and he's a civilian, and he did a pickleback. So I was like,
Oh,
fine, I'll take that.
I guess I could have done a shot.
It was kind of like cool to see like different friends
Yeah,
just reach out. And so after everyone took their shots or down something, like I FaceTime them and said, "Hey, what's up? Yeah,
but you know
thanks
what a
for
fun thing to do. You know,
mm-hmm.
it's I talked about that today on my mental health break that I posted. That it was Monday. I just got done working at the gym, and really, you can decide if you want to have a good day or a bad day. It's up to
Yeah.
you. A good day or a bad week.
Oops. Yeah,
Sorry.
for sure. That's why we were like, okay. My brother-in-law, he's like, wow, this is a great way to reach veterans. Like, this is
Yeah,
a
it's
new
just
way. Like,
something
it
fun to
made
do and laugh about.
because I even like when my friend he downed a water, so it didn't even have to be alcohol.
Mhm.
So, and then some of them did a shotgun high noon, so it wasn't really a beer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like a good way to just reach out to different friends, different friend groups, and people from all over. But I'm gonna say
Well,
I'm very
of course,
disappointed in my
people.
Navy folks.
Yeah,
And I
that's
didn't.
right.
I and
Okay,
I and
Navy
I
people, you better
contacted
get on it. What are you doing? I thought the Navy drank. What's going on?
right, and then I contacted some of my coasties also, and they were like, "Sorry, Lynn, we don't have beer at the house," or a couple of them were driving. Like a lot of my friends were at airports. Like, what are you doing? What are you
Fellow
doing?
pirates.
What are you doing traveling? I said, go to the bar and get
Yeah,
a beer and down it.
yeah, exactly. You can do that. Well,
That's what
you just have to do it again so they can make it up, or
like
just have them
Big
keep sending
Girl
to you.
and Becky, they were with Candace and PJ at a fancy bar in Sunday. And so Becky's like, oh, we're kind
Oh,
of at a
so they were
fancy
drinking with their pinkies up.
establishment.
Is that what you're saying?
I don't care. Get a fucking beer and down
They
it.
could have played a little Garth book, and
Yeah.
then they could have done it right there with playing Garth books. So I got friends in low places. I got
Chris
friends
said
in low
Puddle
places.
Pirates. The coasties. I had 0 coasties come on. I texted at least like 4.
Mm.
So
But what a great way to laugh and have fun and just enjoy life for a second, doing something silly. And I think sometimes, we take things too seriously and people, especially mental health wise and just need to learn to laugh and need to learn not to be. Oh, I don't have a t-shirt because
serious.
I'm
Yeah.
packing stuff up for my trip. I leave Wednesday to go to Germany for a speaking event, and yeah, so I go to Germany. I got a speaking event on Friday, and then I got and book sale. So I packed my T-shirt. So I was going to say, don't be a triggered pansy. There you go, right there.
There it
Scan that QR code, go out there and buy that T-shirt, and I guarantee you, go to any party, go to any Christmas party, go to the airport, you will be the talk of the town. And I've actually learned how to explain that to Italians what that means, and they get a kick out of that T-shirt. So we need to make that T-shirt in Italian because I probably could sell them over here.
Do you have a code for the VTT shop? My
Yeah, I
code
do. Chris
is
sent it to me. I'm going to print it out and to save 10%.
I think so. If you guys type in Pacific Tita, and you know what? It's almost Christmas time, so
They make great Christmas gifts.
they
That's
make
right.
great gifts, and it's the code
And
doesn't work
along
on.
with that, you can order my book, The Mental Health Warrior.
There you go. You
You can't see
disappeared.
it on my screen. There we go. You can order my book, The Mental Health Warrior. It's this life story of Cliff of
Yeah. So
suicide and survival.
Chris says the pricing is so low that not all shirts have the discount, but it doesn't hurt to try to put it in there anyway.
Yeah. Well,
But
you know
yeah,
what?
it's
All
like
the
a
sales
conversation
on
starter.
Veteran Trash Talk, all the sales of my book and everything that we do allows us to continue what we're doing with our mission. Obviously, to get the 22 down a day down more. I know that number has dropped on statistics I saw, but one suicide is too many. We've had some here at the base, the past year, for various reasons, and it's just sad. I know what it's like to go down that hole. I know what it's like to be in that position. And I also know what it's like to be not in that position and be completely
Mhm.
different. And just know that this is just a temporary bump in your life. It's a temporary roadblock. You can jump over it, you can get through it. And there's so many programs out there nowadays, and your best days are ahead of you. Even if you don't think they are, trust me, I get it. they are, and they will get better. And you know what? Some days will be good, some days will be bad. You might take 1 step forward and 3 steps back, or 2 steps forward and 5 steps back. But one day you'll take 3 steps forward and you'll take none back. And that'll be the best day of your life. And then from that day forward, things will keep moving.
That's right, brother.
So with that, I'm going to end the show.
But we talked about a bunch of random stuff.
I know, right? It was a fun show, right? I think I like that better than talk about like random stuff for the aliens. I'll come up with some good conspiracy theory things, and I know they do it on the other show, but I came up with some pretty interesting ones, and I'll quit sending them to Dave, and we'll just talk about it. I'll send them to you, Lynn, and then we can talk about them on the show.
Oh, because I will go down that rabbit hole. I will.
I know, right? That's why we started 13 minutes late, because we were going down the rabbit hole.
I'm like, oh, dang, there's aliens in the ocean. What the?
But hey, anybody who's listening, if you got some good conspiracy theories out there, good videos you ran across on TikTok, Instagram, whatever, drop it in the comment section. We'll talk about it. And if we don't talk about it on our show, we'll forward it to the Saturday show, and they'll talk about it on their show. And let us know, because it is kind of interesting to see about all the stuff going on.
I'll try to get my brother-in-law on the show, because he is big like conspiracy, and it turns out a lot of the things that he believed in was true. So, or proven.
Well, let's get him on the show.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, with that, like I said earlier on the show, you got the QR code up there in the top left corner for Reads Across America. It helps memorize the veterans who have gone on, and to ensure that wreath is on their tomb at the holiday season. You can donate as little as $5. Just scan that QR code. Super thankful for that. I'm so proud to be part of that. But along with that, Reads Across America Radio, we play this podcast at Fridays at 8 p.m. and Sundays at 10 p.m. Super easy to find. Just download the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, and the Odyssey app. And you search for Reads Across America Radio for not only my great programming. I think they have like 30 podcasts now. They play awesome music there. And so it's just really good to be a part of them. And of course, you got 10th Mountain Bourbon. You have the Veterans Mortgages and PCS to Paradise. And Lynn, tell them about the VTT show, the shop.
Okay, if you haven't already, it's www.VeteranTrashTalk.com. You can get that Triggered Pansy shirt there, and you saw that it was on sale for $19.99. Mm-hmm. I think the price went down from $27 to $19.99. Then there's a Mental Health Warrior 2023 shirt for $30. But
I haven't made a new one yet.
Maybe I need to make a new one with Bull. The red shirt. So pay attention to the screen. Chris is putting up different shirts up there. Scan that code.
Put the squirrel one up. The squirrel one's good too.
TrashTalk.com. You can find all our merch on the shop. And then you can find all of our podcasts on there. Our About Us, our mission, everything.
And along with that, be sure to go out to Reverend Warrior website and check them out with all the things they do for veterans with the hikes. They're super fun to do. I went on one. And if you got time, go ahead and jump on and donate. And donate your time. But hey, listen, I say this all the time. We get the holiday seasons coming up, Lynn. You know this as well as I do. It's a rough time for a lot of people. And, we are our brothers and sisters keepers. So let's just watch out for each other and just kind of be cognitive. And if you got somebody that's a little bit down, maybe they're quiet. They may not be suicidal. They may not be that depressed, but maybe they just need to talk, or maybe they just need to have somebody say, hey, how are you doing today? Or, sometimes the kindest word can just change somebody's perspective so quickly. But with that, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Lynn, like always, I thank you and appreciate you. And everybody, you guys have a great week. I am off to Germany. And then the following week for Thanksgiving, we're traveling to Egypt. So super excited about that. So everybody, you guys have a great weekend. Please take care of yourself. Take care.